Fam, what's going on? It's Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube following Alabama's second scrimmage, which is held at Bryant-Denny Stadium. How this is going to work is I'm going to pipe in Coach Kalen DeBoer's press conference, and then I'm going to make some observations and explain a little bit about what he's talking about from the press conference. So we'll pause and we'll stop it. If you want the nuggets of the scrimmage, I'm going to put the timestamps at the bottom of this video so you can quickly jump to the nuggets from today's scrimmage. Things that stood out, kind of some inside information. But here we go with Coach Kalen DeBoer up at the podium today.
Right. It's good to get out there on the afternoon. We didn't have class today, so push back practice helped with some recruiting too and getting some guys here. But got really about the same number of plays in as we did last scrimmage, which is about 115 or so, and kind of split it up about a little over 50 for each, the ones and twos, and then the rest with the threes. So very similar structure to last time. Got a little bit more red zone in. Battled through a couple injuries at one position, particular tight end. And I know in a week you're going to see these guys or not see them out there. Just kind of reporting Josh Cuevas. He'll be good for the fall, but he'll be done for the rest of the spring. And then Marshall Pritchett. So the tight end position went from, kind of lean at one point just with not all the guys are already here at that position. Caleb Edwards, isn't here yet. And with Danny Lewis not practicing this spring. So thin there. So offense, defense working together to really try to get the looks we want, try to make the most of, some substitution, things like that put guys in certain spots they're not used to being in until all of a sudden today. So that just happened earlier in the week. But otherwise, got I think what we needed to get done, continue to get the quarterbacks reps, mixing and matching different groups, especially on defense, keeping those guys fresh, a lot of guys playing and rotating. I think this is a time for us to really take advantage of, the guys that were already not in spring ball and then a couple more that I just mentioned, for us to build that depth, to understand exactly what we have. We know what we got on the top with guys who have put a lot of snaps in out at Bryant-Denny for us here, wearing a Bama jersey, but there's also a lot of guys that we continue to build that depth because that's going to be important as we go through the long SEC season. So, you guys got questions?
All right, before we get to the questions, he mentioned the tight end position being very thin. You had Danny Lewis, who was out. You have Marshall Pritchett, who's out. As he mentioned, Caleb Edwards not even on campus yet. He's the 2025 prospect. So it looks like you would only have Jay Lindsey back there as the only tight end. It is noteworthy that Josh Cuevas is out. He's one of the players that we are looking forward to seeing during A-Day practice. But the good update from Coach Kalen DeBoer is that he will be healthy during this season. That's an area we're curious about from the tight end perspective. You lose Robbie Oots, C.J. Dupree, of course, who was Alabama's leading tight end this past season. So high expectations on Josh Cuevas, and that's something that Coach Kalen DeBoer said in the last meeting is they can't even field a whole complete team. That's another reason why they're not having a full scrimmage this next Saturday at Bryant-Denny Stadium. We continue with the questions from the team reporters.
Start with Charlie on the far right.
Yeah, hey, Coach. Just what did you see from the quarterbacks today, and how have you gone about maybe splitting up those reps between the three?
Yeah, it was I don't want to say it was even across the board, but they all kind of got their shot with the ones and twos, especially just because they're older. Keelan's doing a great job, but with Ty and Austin, Kalen definitely works in with the twos. He'll get one reps from time to time, but that's no indication of really where we feel he's at. He's killing it. He's doing a great job. You can see when he's out there, he's getting more and more comfortable moving the ball down the field. When there's a throw to be made, he'll make the throw, that's for sure. So just the learning curve, I think, that comes along with being young, but those other two guys, a little bit more, as far as understanding the offense, and you're trying to continue to install things, and they have a grasp of the basics from day one, so you can do just a few more things. But, they're all three, making throws, making some big-time throws. I thought they all moved the chains at times when they maybe had their backs to the wall, maybe some second and third and long situations where they found a way to make a big throw. Obviously, someone's got to catch it too. There's just, I think, continue to got to be trust, I think, with the offensive line, and then it's got to go the other way too. The offensive line just getting used to cadences and getting used to, what that guy does. Does he usually break to the outside and scramble? I mean, some guys just have those type of instinctual things they do, and they're all a little bit different. But receivers, I think it really doesn't matter who's throwing to them. I think all three of those guys throw a catchable ball. It's just a matter of who can move us up and down the field the best.
Interesting update right there, talking about the quarterbacks. That's Coach Kalen DeBoer video, courtesy of the University of Alabama. I think it's clear to see that Ty and Austin working with the first team, and as he just said, that Keelan Russell is absolutely killing it. Right now, he's working with more of the twos, which is absolutely fine. And as he said right there, this is not an indication of who's actually going to start. It's more about who's more experienced working the offense. So the biggest takeaway that I got from right there is that he said all the quarterbacks throw a catchable ball, super important, but most importantly, are moving the chains in game situations, right? You have to be able to move the chains in order to win games. So that is super important. Really good update. And then also kind of listening to him saying guys just have an instinctual ability to make plays. Ty Simpson has instinctual ability. I don't know if he was talking exactly about him, but each of these guys, and even he said this before we even started practice, they can move around. We haven't seen too much of Austin Mack moving around, but Coach said that he has some athleticism to him. And, of course, Keelan Russell, what he did at the high school level, I'm sure it's translating to college football very nicely. We continue with Coach Kalen DeBoer.
Chase from left here.
Blocking was an area where Isaiah Horton struggled last year at Miami. Can you just remark on how he's done in that regard this spring?
Well, from a physical standpoint, it shouldn't be an issue, right? So it's a mindset to me, and it's positioning and understand where we're trying to get the ball to. So I guess it hasn't been anything that I've seen ever in feeling that it's a deficiency in any way. So he's physical presence out there in every way, catching the ball, breaking tackles, those type of things, and it carries over to blocking. In fact, I can think of some drills earlier in spring where he excelled at it. So I think it's a lot of it's understanding of what we're trying to accomplish, the teaching, and then the want to, of course, I think is a lot of it.
You might think the whole blocking for a receiver might be a strange question, but hold on here. One of the things when Alabama had its right-outs, those guys were the most selfless downfield blockers, period, right? Remember like Henry Ruggs, Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle, Jerry Jeudy, those guys were downfield blocking. So I like the question actually about a wide receiver and his blocking abilities, because that is a part that really helps the offense in big play situations. You want Jam Miller to break a run. You want another wide receiver to come across the middle and be able to run downfield. Well, you need to block the safety that's coming across who has a pursuit angle. So I actually like that question, and that's a good update from Coach Kalen DeBoer about Isaiah Horton, who we already know is going to be a beast. By the way, Nugget, spoiler alert, heard he had another strong showing today during Alabama's scrimmage. We continue right now with Coach Kalen DeBoer.
What have you seen from Richard Young both today and so far this spring?
Yeah, he's more of a physical back. Got his carries today, just like the rest of them. Want to continue to see him just grow. I think a big offseason for him this summer is going to be important. He was working through some injuries last year. I think we're through that part with the winter phase. I think all the running backs in general, breaking some tackles, making more explosive plays. They're not always going to have this wide open, parting of the seas. It's, creating and getting off of just Rich, but, he's part of the running back core. And so I think finding times when they can, get their yards when they need to and put their head down, I think that's a strength of his. And I think as a core, as a group, they can all try to do just if they can get us a little bit more when maybe the perfect blocking isn't in place, which is going to happen, right? When you're playing an SEC game in particular, it's hard to block those dudes. And so you got to make some things happen. And I want to see the whole group continue to improve and, yards after contact, making people miss out in space and not letting that first guy bring you down.
That's one of the things that I like about their overall running back room is I think they are a little bit bigger, right? Jam Miller's 220 pounds. Richard Young, I think, is listed at 215 pounds. Daniel Hill at 240 pounds. Dre Washington at 220. Even Kevin Riley, I think he's one of the smaller backs. He's like 205, and then A.K. Deere's like 210. So, listening to Coach Kalen DeBoer right there, I kind of get the sense to where, yeah, they have the running backs to do it, but you also have to have the whole team doing its job in terms of blocking, in terms of executing, and having those running backs being able to get off that first contact and get upfield. So Alabama certainly has a good running back problem in terms of they're so deep at running back. I mean, I think there's a couple positions that Alabama is almost too deep at, and running back is probably one of them. So a good update. Didn't say a lot about Richard Young particularly, but we all know that Richard Young it looks like he's going to be that 1-2 combo along with Jan Miller this coming season. More with Coach Kalen DeBoer.
How have you seen Ryan Williams, kind of progress throughout the spring, and then just with his skill set, can you kind of get him at multiple positions, like slot and outside as well?
Yeah, we didn't have Ryan scrimmage today. Just taking care of him. We know what we have there. He might not do much the rest of the spring. And there's a couple nicks and things like that. But if you asked him, he'd be out there and scrimmaging. He's dressed up and ready to go, but just being really careful with some things he's going through here the last week or so. Yeah, we can definitely. He's a versatile guy. He can play any position, inside, outside, field, boundary. It doesn't matter. And you got to make sure that we continue to give those opportunities down the field, the things you saw a year ago. Explosive play opportunities, but also a lot of it's just getting the ball in his hands. I can think of some even bubble screens and things like that we did a year ago that he just created on his own. Obviously, we got a block for him, but we're going to move him around. And I think that's one thing our receiving core gives us. Germ and Isaiah can do much of the same thing, and that's what you really love is have versatile players. Running backs that can line up and do some things out in the perimeter, tight ends that can play and be flexed out, they can motion in, put their hand down. You want the same thing receivers, guys that can play inside and outside.
Interesting update considering that Ryan Williams, I guess, might be missing the rest of spring or whatever. I didn't even know, hadn't heard that he had some sort of a, sounds like a minor injury. Coach Kalen DeBoer said nicks there. But I think the biggest takeaway from there is we know what we have with Ryan Williams, right? You imagine Ryan Williams 2.0. He's a franchise-type player. If he's not 100%, even if he's 90%, you're sitting him because he's that good and he means that much to the overall success of the team. But talking about utilizing him in different spots, whether it's field, boundary, at the slot position, where I'm most excited to see Ryan Williams. Imagine Isaiah Horton, Jeremy Bernard, and Ryan Williams at the slot position. That's going to be an absolute problem. Now, with Ryan Williams out the next couple of days for spring football, it's going to open up some opportunities for some more inside players, slot position players. Maybe Rico Scott, Cole Adams, Jalen Mbakwe, Lazier Brooks, who we've been talking a lot about. So anytime a guy steps out for a little bit, you have other guys rise up to the occasion and have to make the most of that opportunity. Here's more of Coach Kalen DeBoer.
Hey, Kalen, there's been a lot of talk about Ty's increased leadership. Quay was talking about, leaders being named or assigned this spring, and Ty was one of them. And I'm wondering, is that an indicator for you guys about a quarterback decision, or what have you guys seen?
No, I mean, that leadership group was voted on in early January. So it was before spring even started, and I would expect Ty to be on that. He's been here, vested a lot. I would have voted for Ty to be on that in January as well. So he does a great job, really, taking advantage of knowing the guys that are on the team, helping them. He's obviously got to take care of his business, and he does. So we ask guys to be leaders, and then when you take care of your business, bring someone with you, and he does a great job of that. I think, the other quarterbacks, continue to do it different ways. Kalen does it with his presence. He's not probably going to be as vocal yet, just hasn't been around long enough. And Austin's kind of in there as well, has really, because of the confidence and the things he's done, especially the middle half of last fall, where he started really kind of, showing the effort and energy that he would bring the team. I think he's gained a lot of confidence being a leader as well.
Love that update. Ty Simpson, these aren't captains. These are the leadership council. And Ty Simpson, even before practice started in the springtime, was voted to this leadership council. And Coach Kalen DeBoer said that he would have voted him there as well. He's been here a long time. He's a great person, has a lot of characteristics that you want in the leadership ability, but also as an ambassador for the program, right? And that's usually what the quarterback at Alabama is. Think of the past quarterbacks at Alabama. How many character issues did those quarterbacks have? I'll tell you right now, 0. So Ty Simpson fits that mold as well. Really good to hear. I'm not surprised to hear that either. I knew that before, but good follow-up question. Here's Coach Kalen DeBoer.
Got 2 questions left. We'll start with Nick here, right in the middle.
Yeah, with Keon Sabb and Demai Jackson out, more opportunities for younger DBs. What did you see from some of them today?
Yeah, they continue to be that group. I guess just backtracking here. First of all, Keon, we just continue to get the feedback and reports. It's been super positive. Even today, another positive report probably as positive as we've had, and we expected that, but just exciting for him to be able to get going and keep taking those steps when you get to those benchmarks and going on to the next level. So he's on track, he's on pace. It was quite an injury, that he was coming back from, and the fight, I'm never going to question that because maybe some of but last fall what he worked through and the way he sacrificed himself, the Tennessee game in particular, that 2-game stretch there leading up to it, it got a lot of fight, and people respect him. I do too for that. But yeah, the younger guys, they don't feel like younger guys. I mean, that's across the board. The 18 guys that came in, early enrollees, I don't see them as freshmen anymore at all. They've really gone out there, and the defensive backfield a year ago at this time, thin, new faces, knew we had to get more faces in. Not sure. I mean, I think we had one returning starter or one returning corner on scholarship that returned from the season before. And that position group, I think, is both corners and safeties together have really kind of reconfigured and are playing extremely high level of football. They're seeking out, they're hunting the ball, they're confident. They love it when other guys make plays. They're excited for of course, the plays they make, but it's really cool seeing Mo Lindquist, Jason Jones really gel that whole defensive backfield together and go out there and a takeaway is an expectation for those guys really every single play.
Look, the secondary is absolutely loaded. You're missing right now Keon Sabb, who, by the way, great update from Coach Kalen DeBoer in terms of his health status. Damani Jackson, he'll be healthy in the fall. But think about all the guys that you got coming back this year. And one of the things that we frequently talk about on my show is this point in time last year with the secondary to this point in time. 100% difference. And you who the guys are going to be, right? Xavier Brown's coming back, Damani Jackson, Keon Sabb, Bray Hubbard. The Husky position I think has to be figured out, whether that's Deshaun Jones, Cam Calhoun, whoever it's going to be. But even the two deep at the secondary is elite, right? Zay Mincy at safety, Drake Kirkpatrick working at maybe Husky or safety, Dejon Lee absolutely killing it. So you have a lot of guys, and Chuck McDonald's not even here yet. So that secondary, the 1 and 2 deep, absolutely elite. And then you have the coaches that are coaching these guys. We're hearing great things about Jason Jones, but Mo Lindquist, oh my goodness, talk about bringing the energy, the fire, and just the overall intelligence. One hell of a coach. All right, here's the final question to Coach Kalen DeBoer.
I'll finish up with Joe right across.
Coach, kind of on that same track, but with the inside linebackers, with Deontay Lawson and Justin Jefferson out, how have you seen veteran Nikai Hill-Green come in and assert himself, and then with the young linebackers behind him?
Real young guys, the 3 freshmen, they're going to be really good players. We ask a lot out of that position. They're the ones there that wear the earpieces, make the calls. And now going into year 2, we're even more diverse than what we were, and putting a little bit more on their shoulders, kind of taking those next steps as a defense with the concepts we're putting in, refining some of the things we did last year, adding to some of those things as well. Abdul, Luke, Duke, all 3 of them, making plays out there, running sideline to sideline. That's one thing they do best. And then, QB is a guy that's out there directing traffic, and he's had a really good spring as well. So I'm proud of the way those guys have just taken the bull by the horns and rolled with it. And then Justin and Deontay, their leadership and their engagement with these guys has been something I just got to make a note of, because they remember being that age, the ups and downs that you can go through, and they are right in there every single play. If a big play happens, Justin in particular, because he can go run out there, he's got as much excitement as anyone when those linebackers in particular make a big play.
All right, that's Coach Kalen DeBoer's press conference video courtesy of the University of Alabama. The last comment talking about the inside linebacker room, really important, because right now at this point in time, you had Deontay Lawson and Justin Jefferson out. Justin Jefferson's limited, but you have Nikai Hill-Green, who came in here from Colorado, very experienced. So if you look at the starters, it's probably the most experienced linebacking unit in the country now with Nikai Hill-Green here, right? But what's happening right now at Alabama, to their benefit, is you're getting a lot of these second-year and first-year guys more opportunity. So Abdul Sanders has been absolutely killing it, right? Hearing good things about Luke Metz. Coach was talking about Daryl Duke Johnson as well. And then QB Reese, a second-year player, also having opportunities as well, Caden Jones. So those younger guys getting a lot of opportunities at the inside linebacker position as well. So really great update. And overall, good press conference from Coach Kalen DeBoer. Now I'm going to talk about the Nuggets real quick from scrimmage number 2. Now, in terms of the Nuggets, Ty Simpson had another very strong showing. Talk to any of the inside sources that were there. Look, Ty Simpson is right now in full command of the Alabama offense. Now, I did hear this regarding the quarterbacks, and as you heard, Coach Kalen DeBoer spoke about kind of the ones and where Keelan Russell is at this point in time. Heard that Austin Mack didn't have the best day. Now, that's kind of all I know at this point in time, but heard that Keelan Russell is going to be that guy, and there's some really bright spots from him. In terms of the offense, as you saw, Ryan Williams is out, but guess who stood out once again today at this scrimmage? Lazier Brooks. Lazier Brooks is a freshman I think is going to be ultra difficult to keep off the field. Now, we've talked many different times about Alabama's starting 3 wide receivers, right? Jeremy Bernard, Ryan Williams, Isaiah Horton. They can mix and match those guys. Who's going to be the 4th, 5th wide receiver off in kind of the reserve? I think Lazier Brooks is starting to kind of creep up and earn that spot based off his overall playmaking ability. Heard really good things about him today as well. On the defensive side, Bray Hubbard had himself a nice day as well. A lot of leadership and just big playability from him. And then Dejon Lee. Once again, hearing great things. And people are saying that he's just exceptional. So I don't know if there's a corner battle right now between like Xavier Brown and Dejon Lee or Damani Jackson, but I do know this. Dejon Lee is playing elite. And it's hard to say that because there's good, there's great, and there's elite. But right now, for a freshman, he's probably playing as the best freshman at the University of Alabama, and that says something because you have some absolute ballers here right now. As more news comes in, we'll bring that your way right here on Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you guys. Hey, if you enjoyed this video content, drop a thumbs up on this video. Get inside the comment box. I'll get back to you guys. I appreciate you guys supporting the overall product. Coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube.